Good morning. This is CloudCharttist with your missing weekly crude analysis for the week ending September 9th. I'm sorry I forgot to analyze crude in my video, so I'm just going to make this is actually going to be a top-down video on crude from starting with the monthly, and then I'll go through all the different time frames. Just a little extra bonus for you crude traders who are pissed at me because I forgot about it yesterday. No, I'm just kidding, but hopefully it will be helpful and you'll learn something new about Ichimoku that you didn't know. Bear with me, I'm pulling the cat off my desk. Alright, so this is crude monthly. I hope you can see through my fibs. I don't feel like taking them off at the moment. So on the monthly time frame, crude is bear flagging under the cloud. It has found support at the Tenkan-sen down here below at 38.86. You see that the low of last month's candle was 39.19, so just above that monthly Tenkan-sen. So bearish, but has support on the monthly time frame. Let's switch to the weekly. Let's see, crude it's 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time here while I'm making this video, and crude is catching a really nice bid. You can see it. It's hard to see on this larger time frame, but so on the weekly, I'm going to zoom in even a little bit more. We see that we are still holding the top of the cloud, so we're still bullish in Ichimoku terms. Last week, we came down and traded slightly underneath into the cloud a little bit, slightly underneath the Tenkan-sen, which is currently confluent with the top of the cloud. And we put in a big topping tail, so we closed about midway through last week's candle, right conveniently at a 50% fib that I had drawn based on, I believe, daily time frame, which will reveal itself in shortly when I go down to the daily time frame. So keep an eye on that 45.62 level as acting as resistance for the moment. Let's go down to the. Otherwise, we see the Chikou is still here under the cloud, so the Chikou is going to have resistance at the cloud. It's all the way up here at around 47. Let's call it 47.42, I believe it is, this week. So we do have this gap window area up here that should act as resistance too. So let's go to the daily. So from the daily, you can see where my fibs are drawn. They are drawn from the real candle bodies. Highs up here at 51.53, and the low candle body is this candle close, which is at 39.70, giving us some nice fibs to work with, in my opinion. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see how nice. I mean, like, this candle stopped right at the 61.8. We came up and reversed at the 78.6. Came down, traded along the top of the 61.8 for a while. Again, lost that. Came down, traded right through the 50% off. Traded as 50%. Sorry, 50% off. That's pretty funny. Traded. It's early. I haven't had even a sip of my coffee, which is sitting right here. We traded through the 38.2, but didn't get too far down below it, and then traded back. Found resistance at it, which happened to be confluent with the Kijun-sen at that particular time. These are all last week's candles, obviously. Then this candle, we managed to trade, let's see, that was the 7th, so Wednesday. We managed to trade all the way up above the cloud, and then came down and traded in the middle of the cloud. Thursday's candle, we came up and traded not only through the Tenkan-sen, but closed above the Tenkan-sen and the cloud, so back into bullish territory. Friday's candle, wait a minute. Sorry, this was Wednesday's candle. This was Thursday's candle. Friday's candle, we came up and traded inside this, or we started off and traded inside this gap window zone, and then came down and let me zoom in a little bit more, and closed down here, still over the Tenkan-sen. And now we are trading inside the cloud currently. So we do have some levels inside the cloud on the daily to work with. Looks like we're trying to reclaim above the Kijun-sen, which is currently at 45.21. So that would be significant if we remain above that. If you want to be bullish on crude, you really want to see us close above the Tenkan-sen, which is at 45.38, and the cloud, which is at 45.43. So keep that 45.43 level in mind on the closing basis on crude. All right, so I like to use the continuous contract for analysis on longer time frames, but once I start going down to shorter time frames, other than after I leave the daily and start going down to lower time frames, I like to go to the specific contract. The only reason I use the continuous contract is there's just not enough Ichimoku data on the individual contract to get the weekly analysis that I like. All right, so I'm just going to show you the V6 contract, the current contract on the daily time frame as well, because it's slightly different from the one that I just showed you. The fibs are the same. You see that we are inside the cloud, like sort of midway inside the cloud on the V6 daily, and we're trying to recapture the Tenkan-sen rather than Kijun-sen. The Tenkan-sen is at 45.38 here. The Tenkan-sen is actually bear crossed. We have the Kijun-sen, this pink line, coming up above the Tenkan-sen here. So it would be good for, if you want to be bullish on crude, for us to put in a close above both the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen, and very bullish if we can get back above the cloud, which is at 46.49. So I would be impressed if we were able to do that today. So we'll see what happens. Let's go down to the 4-hour. In the 4-hour time frame, we saw a lot of selling from Friday into, came down, lost the Tenkan-sen, lost the top of the cloud here. Tried to hold the top of the cloud on this 4-hour candle, but didn't quite do it. Came down, tested the bottom of the cloud almost. Then indeed tested the bottom of the cloud. Tested below the cloud, but continued to hold the cloud. Tested below the cloud, but continued to hold the cloud almost. This was just a couple ticks under the cloud, I believe. And now we are back inside the cloud on the 4-hour time frame. So that means that price is neutral on the 4-hour time frame for crude at the moment. So we have resistance above here at 45.80 at the Kijun-sen and at 45.73. So you could call it 45.75 if you want to keep that number in your head as far as resistance on the 4-hour time frame. Let's go down to the hour. So, if you're doing this analysis yourself with Ichimoku, you can be writing down all these levels. Because if you're, say you're trading intraday, you're probably looking at the 5 or 15 minute. Please tell me you're not looking at shorter time frames than that. I feel bad for you. But anyway, so if you're doing that, you might not realize these other levels that are on longer time frames unless you've scribbled them down, or unless you have longer time frame charts open at the same time, which is a good idea, which I would highly recommend. I usually like to have multiple time frames. Like if I'm trading, say I was trading, I'm not trading crude today, but if I was trading crude, I would be watching the 15-minute, the 5-minute, the hour, the 4-hour, and I would have in mind, I would know the daily levels also. You could even throw in some more, 2-hour levels, or whatever time frame that you like to use. And I'm just assuming that you like to use, those kind of standard time frames. You might prefer to use tick charts or Renko bars, etc., etc. I have tried to use Renko with Ichimoku and didn't really enjoy it, so didn't find it particularly useful, so quit myself, but that doesn't mean you can't, as other people do. All right, so looking at the hourly chart, we see that the Chikou is stuck under the cloud here, so that is going to offer resistance at the bottom of the cloud, which is probably why this candle is sort of farting out. It's also actually the 15-minute, which we'll see in a second. So having trouble with this level right here, which is 45.17. trying to get rejected, but it's also because it's the 15-minute cloud is right there as well. So we do have the Tenkan-sen here that could offer support at 45.03. And then if we do continue getting bid throughout the day, then 45.90 up here at the Kijun-sen could offer a resistance, and then also the bottom of the cloud up here at 46.15. Let's go down to the 30-minute. 30-minute chart is, we are above the Tenkan-sen. The Tenkan-sen is starting to slope up, which is bullish. The Kijun-sen is sort of sloping down, so looking like we could get a potential for a bull cross. Notice the Chikou is going to come into resistance at this candle bottom up here, which is at 45.31, thereabouts. So that, in fact, that's where we, let's see, this high was 45.29, so that's why we found resistance on this candle, because the Chikou came into the candle above. Chikou is a wonderful thing. Don't ever take it off your Ichimoku charts. In my opinion, it would be a terrible loss. Some people do, though. Some people don't use it. They don't seem to get it. It's like one of the best things about Ichimoku. So we see again here on the 15-minute chart that the Chikou is running into this pink line here, which is the Kijun-sen. In case you don't know what the Chikou is, in case it's the first video of mine that you have ever watched, the Chikou is just current price, time shifted 26 periods into the past. So in this case, 26 15-minute candles. So this red line is doing exactly what this current candle is doing, you can see. But it's just interacting with other stuff back here. So that's like super convenient. The current candle is inside the, I'm sorry, I'm making so many flashes with my cursor. The current candle is inside the cloud, so it's important if you want to be bullish for crude that on this time frame that it holds the cloud, and the cloud is currently around 45. So that 45 level is important. If it doesn't hold that level, then it's going to chop around underneath the cloud for a while. I'm not going to bother going any shorter time frames. I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. Sorry I forgot to do crude in my weekly Ichimoku wrap up. If you're new to following me, I do this kind of Ichimoku analysis all the time, every day. Been doing it since 2009, thereabouts, beginning of 2000. Yeah, 2009. Geez, that's a while ago. That's like 7 years. I do teach people how to trade with Ichimoku. I trade futures in my chat room. If you're interested in doing that or learning more about it, you can look at my website, CloudCharttist.com. Hit me up on Twitter at CloudCharttist, or send me an email, cloudchartist@gmail.com. Thanks a lot. Don't stress out. If you're not comfortable with these large market moves that's, started when we broke out of the range on Friday, just don't trade. Just chill out and wait for things to calm down or make you feel more comfortable. Better to keep your money in your pockets than to get overly risky in a pretty volatile environment. All right, that's all. Have a good day, have a good week, and we'll see you next time.